Hey guys, my name is Ribbon Phoenix from alienthink.com, and in this video I'm going to be doing a review of the Surface Pro 3 for the artist. So I'm going to be creating an illustration for you in real time so you can get a good idea of how this device works and how it reacts to the pressure sensitivity when creating drawings. So to start out, first let me point out that I'm using the i5 version of the Surface Pro 3. This is the 128GB model. It has 4GB of memory. It's a 64-bit operating system and it's running Windows 10. So one thing you'll notice are these fonts over here, that the writing is going to be kind of small because the resolution for this device is actually very high. So if we go to Microsoft's website for the Surface Pro 3, you can see that the resolution over here is going to be 2160 by 1440. That's a pretty high resolution. And the screen size is 12 inches diagonally. So if you take a look at the dimensions, it's basically like an 11 and a half piece of paper. So it's a pretty good size for you to draw on. So since this is a 128GB model, what you can do is actually expand this with a micro SD card. So if you look at the Surface Pro 3 here, this section over here is where you attach your power source, and this is where you put your USB, and then it has this HDMI cable, so you can even connect this to a 4K monitor if you wanted to. So if I simply just take this over here, you'll see that right under here there's a micro SD slot over here. So the Surface Pro 3 designed to let you draw on it, and really that's how they sell it, that it is supposed to replace your laptop. So on the other side over here, you'll see that it has a headphone jack and some volume buttons. Now, since I already have the Surface Pro set up, I can't really pick it up to show you this, so that's why I'm using this website over here. So once you get your Surface Pro 3, what you want to do is you have the option to download the Surface app. This is a free app and you get it from the Microsoft Store. So what this app allows you to do is actually control what this pen does over here. So if I scroll over here, you can see that I can control the pen pressure sensitivity. So in this pen, this button over here by default is going to be the eraser, and this one will be the color picker. Really depends on the application you're using, but that's what I found to be default. And over here, if I slide this, you can control how the pressure sensitivity works. So I'm going to put it all the way to the left over here. So over here you can see that when I start to draw on it, I can get really thick lines and very light lines. So it gives you 256 levels of pressure. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize this. So the illustration that we're going to be creating here is going to be using the Manga Studio 5, and this is the 5.0.6 version. So this version allows you to rotate with 2 fingers, you can zoom in and out, and you can pan with touch over here. So when I'm creating this illustration, you'll probably see me do that. So the other thing is that under the File menu, under Manga Studio, under Preferences, I actually have to go into the Tablet section and make sure that the Tablet PC button is checked, and this gives the pressure sensitivity. So now, since I'm relying on the Surface app to control the pressure sensitivity, if I go back under File, you see that the Manga Studio even allows you to do that. So here it is by default, so I'm just going to let that be the way it is over here. So now to create the illustration, what I'm going to do is go to this canvas. So you can see I'm working on a 2500 by 3333 pixel canvas size at 300 dpi. So over here on the brushes, I'm going to be using the rough pencil, and just to show you that I've set the minimum value here to 20 on the rough pencil and the brush density to around 40. And this is just going to give me the pressure sensitivity that I'm looking for. So one thing you'll notice that when I move this pen, the cursor is dragging behind. This is not because the device is slow, it's something that's part of Manga Studio, and it's called the stabilization. And you can actually increase this or decrease this. And it's basically a lazy mouse concept that allows you to create some very smooth lines like I am, right? So you can see I can get very light lines or I can get very dark lines over here. So now I'm going to go ahead and create this illustration. So one thing I want you to notice is how I'm holding the pen. You'll see that I'm kind of away from the screen, because when I lay out this illustration, I'm going to be actually doing a rough sketch first. But you'll notice that when I get close to the screen, I'm going to end up touching the pad accidentally, and this is because I don't have the gloves. So like these fingers will touch, and what I'll get is like these dots over my illustration. So I would recommend that you at least get a glove that they sell for digital artists to protect you from doing that. So the other thing here is, since I'm right-handed, here on the bottom right corner, I actually sometimes end up touching this area, so that's why I've moved the taskbar on this Windows 10 on top. Otherwise I'll hit some Wi-Fi settings and it just becomes frustrating. So you can simply right-click on the taskbar and move it to the top. The other option that you have on the Surface Pro 3 is that from the right you can swipe over here and do tablet mode. So what this does is simply behaves like a tablet. You can see that the taskbar icons are now gone. So you can also do that if you want to get rid of that. The other thing is that let's say accidentally I click on the home button over here, it'll just go over here and I can simply from the left swipe back and just go back to where I was. Okay, so I just wanted to point those things out, that this is how you pretty much navigate throughout this. So just keep in mind that it really depends on the application that you're using. So you can see all the icons over here. This is a very high resolution screen. So some applications that are, I guess, considered legacy applications are going to show very, very tiny icons. You probably need a magnifying glass to see those. So those applications have to be updated. So I know that the Adobe products have been updated and do have this mode where you see the icons pretty big. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So what I want to do is basically create an illustration here. Let's say we're doing some kind of a character design and we just want to work on the human head over here. So I'm just going to go through that process so you can see how this tablet is going to work out. So the first thing I'm going to do, oh, and one thing over here, you can see that I am at a 40 brush size over here. So I'm going to be drawing from my shoulder over here. So I get a nice smooth line. So what I want to do is actually create kind of like this oval shape over here. Not too oval. I think I'm going to expand it just a little bit more. Maybe a little more over here. And this is going to be the idea for the human head. So I'm just going to show you how you can construct a human head over here. Very quickly. So since I have this human head, what I want to do is really just, when I'm creating the character design, rotate the head to 30 degrees. So we can do that by simply putting a dot right in the middle. And what this dot really just represents is the 0-degree mark. And then you can simply go around this 3D sphere in 15-degree increments. So if I divide this in half, I'm going to get, excuse me, I'm going to get around 30 degrees over here. And if I divide this here, over here I'm going to get 15 degrees. So from 30 it'll be 45. So now because it's curving towards perspective going away from us, this will be 60, 75, and the end of this sphere considered 90. So we can do the same thing on this side, just make an assumption that this is the half of this is going to be 30, over here is 15. Then I'll get 45, then of course 60, 75, and then 90. So these are approximations. So now you don't have to do this every time. This is just so you can see how I'm constructing this. So since this is 0 degrees over here, I really just want to create a 30-degree rotation. So I'm going to pull a line from the 30-degree mark over here. So all I have to do is really just add this height all the way down over here and just approximate it and say that this is going to be the bottom of the chin over here. So I can simply come in here and connect this side over here. So now where the jaw is, when the head is really looking at you, this is the 0 degree mark, and where the jaw is, it's going to be considered at 90 degree. So we can simply come, just like we did 2 over here, we can come from 90, count backwards 75, 60. So I'm just going to approximate this, that it's going to start to come down like this, and you'll get a very quick method of setting up the head over here. Again, these are like these rules we artists use to put these ideas together. Again, once you understand this, you don't even have to put the dots down. You just know what you're doing. So over here, I'm just going to add the neck, so I can just envision this ball shape over here and connect like a cylindrical shape going down this way, and we can just put a neck for now so we can have something to look at. So I'm just going to do it this way over here, that this is the neck. Remember, we're just doing a conceptual sketch here, nothing too detailed here. So you can see that I was able to put this drawing down, and it's like I'm working on with natural media with Manga Studio, right? So it feels like the same thing that I do on paper. So now that we have this, I'm just going to move forward and lay out some important things on this head. First thing is that we know that well, what we have to do is really just find the half of this head. We're just going to make an assumption that this is the half division of the head. So when I put this line over here, what I'm actually doing is deciding that this is where the line for the eye is going to be. So when the head is facing you at 0 degrees, right, the temple is actually the area where the bone for considered the part of the frontal bone is going to be at 45 degrees. So I'm going to actually come in, because I moved it by 2 over here, I can come in at 15. So I'm just going to put a line over here to signify that, and then I can start to think about that bone over here. That's going to go like this, right? And then this, of course, is going to go in here. So now the thing about drawing is that the more lines you put down like these guidelines, the more better your drawing is going to come out to be, right? If it just helps the mind to see things. So over here where the eyebrow is, I just simply are going to divide this in half. From this section, this section, this. So this will give you the rough estimate as to where the nose is going to be, the bottom of the nose. So here, where this idea is for the center, I'm just going to do, let's say, the socket for the nose over here, like the opening. So what I'm going to do is basically putting the basic concepts of the skull down. Right, so I can make it a little more bigger. Any of this stuff can be adjusted over here. So now, since I have the bottom of the nose and the bottom of the chin, I really just have to divide this in about 2 different equal sections over here. I'm just going to put 2 dots so you can see. So what that does, it just gives you the understanding that you can put the mouth over here like so. This is where the mouth is, and the center for the mouth. So I'm just going to put this line down just to make sure that like the way the perspective is going, then you're going to have the bottom area for the chin over here. Okay, so this is how the measurement system is being put down. So what I want to do is I want to now start to construct the area for the maxilla bone and the zygomatic bone. So what I'm going to do is simply, first it's a good idea to just put down a few components here, just a few lines here, let's say, or from here to here. I'm just going to do a center line over here, and this just helps me to see where everything is. So since we have this, we're going to get the nasal bone, and that of course is just going to go in a bit over here, and then it's going to go into this section of the eye, and then it's just going to curve like this. It's kind of like this cylindrical concept. So now that I have this, I simply have to just think about the distance over here and just put down, see where this area is for this bone. So I'm just going to put a rough estimate that this is what I like to see, and where this line is, I'm going to come down just a bit over here. Okay, none of these ideas are or solid ideas, anything can be changed. So once I have this, now I can just simply just come down over here for the cheek area over here. So this again is the maxilla bone, and then you've got the zygomatic bone over here, right? So we can simply just take this back under this line, take it back to where it's going to connect back to the ear, right? It'll connect to the temporal bone. So over here, I'm just going to bring this in the zygomatic bone and then merge into the maxilla and just go down here. So you can see that I'm getting a rough idea of how the skull is going to be located. And the reason I did this here is because we know that it's just going to be halfway here. So now what we can do is just go onto this side over here on this head, this face over here, and now start to think about the other side over here. So since this is a 30-degree mark, right, I'm just going to come like this because I can kind of like see this area too. I'm going to balance it out and just assume that it's just going to go like this and in over here. So you can see that I'm getting this. Now at any time I can use this feature over here. This is like looking at a mirror. This is to get away from symbolism that your mind can get stuck in. So for example, I can use this method to now start to see the other side of this area for the eye socket, right? And this just helps to see. It's kind of like you're using a mirror to see and removing the ideas of symbolism from your head. And again, this just needs to be like this. It's really just placing the simple concepts of the idea down. So I've got the basic idea of the head in. Okay, so I'm going to turn this back. So like I said, the more guidelines you have, the better it is for you to create your character design. So one thing I'll do over here, I'll just put a line over here, just a straight line like this. And from here, I'll also do the same thing. So this will give me like the width of the eye, right? So I'll do the same thing here. Now this is kind of going in perspective. So we kind of like have to balance it out because the eye, there's like a distance of the eye in the middle, right? 3 eye distance, so there's 1 distance of 1 eye. So now since this is a little in perspective, I'll just put it down in this way. So just note that where this line is, this is also roughly where the your nostril is going to be. So I'm going to take a look at this and just say that, okay, well, I'm just going to put like a circle over here, just an idea, and then on the other side I'm just going to put a circle just to get myself set up. So when I actually create the idea for the nose, my mind can begin to see, okay, well, what I want to do is simply somehow come over here like this and then begin to create this idea of the nose, kind of like in perspective. Right, so you can see now we're getting the idea for the nose down. Remember, this line here signifies where it hits the nostril also as to where the eye is. So now in the middle of this is basically where it's going to hit the end of the mouth. Okay, so I'm just going to put a line down because I can see where this is going. And this over here in the middle over here is probably going to go like this. So now I'm just going to work a little bit on the lips over here. So let me actually zoom in just a bit more over here so you can see, and move this a little more over here so we can work on this. Okay, so now let's think about the mouth. So it's a good idea to probably just put a few lines down just so you can see where you are. Okay, so I'm going to kind of like now start to think about the lips over here. So I know that, okay, well, I'm just going to put the rough estimate down that this is the idea for the lips. And it's going to go kind of like into the distance over there, right? So we have to build on that. So this is the meaning of the lips over here. So I'm just going to do like a curve over here, and now just experiment a little bit, and this is the end of the mouth, right where the center of the eye is. And then we'll just take it over here, and any of these ideas can be changed. And then we'll get the bottom of the lip over here. Again, I'm just going to rough it out a little bit over here. So at any time I can switch between this to make sure that I like what I'm putting down. It's making sense. Right, so I have a good drawing here. Okay, so that's good enough over here. So it gives me all the information. So the other thing is now we're just going to place the ear. And we know that automatically where the bottom of the nose is and when the top of the eyebrow is, you can simply just come up with the idea for the ear, and this is where its measurements are going to be. So you can come up with your own ear over here. And I'm just going to put it down that this is where the ear is going to be put. Right, so now we have all the ideas down. So I'm going to actually fix this area here. That's because over here I like to like come in just a little bit over here. And because it was protruding out a little bit, and that's because lines really don't mean much here in this first initial idea. You just need to get those ideas across. So here I'm just going to obviously connect this. I'm just going to go in a little bit over here and connect it like this so I can start to get a good idea of the muscles over here, right? So that's just going to go about its way. So now you're going to get into the jawbone, which is called the mandible over here. So I'm just going to go ahead and put a line down over here just so you can see where this is, and it's going to be going like this in here, right? So now when you see this, you can see that, okay, well, I mean, I can kind of adjust it. I can bring it in a little bit because it's kind of in perspective, right? So you can like tinker around with these concepts if you want. So now what I want to do is, now let's say we're now are satisfied with these concepts. So I'm just going to do, let's say, just a rough idea of the eye. So what I want to do is put this over here, because this is the center, right? Just a rough estimate of the eye that's going to be here. Now, because I'm using a rough pencil, I'm really not going to be able to put the details like I can in real world, right? With a real pencil. You have to switch pencils. So I'm just going to do this over here so you can get an idea. This is where the eye is going to be. Then your eyebrow would be here in this fat area system, right? Over here. So I'm not going to put that down right now. What I want to do is really just create a robotic head over here. So I'm not going to do much with this eye over here because I just want to get this concept in. So what we can do now is go ahead and create a new layer, and I'm going to switch to a darker pencil. And this is where we can now start to really just fiddle around with this guy and start to make some ideas. So now what I want to do is start thinking about, okay, well, you know what I want to do is start creating some ideas. Again, this is just these rough ideas of this idea that I'm just drawing right now on the fly for you over here. Let's say I'm just going to put like this concept down over here for this. And maybe I don't like that. I'm just going to erase that a bit. I'm trying to create a futuristic, let's say some futuristic concepts over here. So I can just undo that over there if I don't like that line. So let's go ahead and zoom in over here so we can see what we want to do. So now you'll see that when I start to do the details, I'm getting close to the pen, right? And this is where I'll start to hit. So I'm going to try to keep my hand away from the screen. So I'm basically balancing my elbow on the side of, on the arm chair rest, and kind of pivoting from there so I can get this. It's kind of a little awkward, but if I had the glove, I could put my palm down. I mean, I can put it down, but I'll start hitting stuff, and it's going to start to put dots on there. Then I have to kind of like fight with this. So you kind of like need to have that glove. So let's just put some ideas here for these dots over here, like so, right? And then maybe what I'll do is bring this out like this. And let's actually take this like so. I'll just put this in here, and I just want to show you, obviously in digital drawing you can do really amazing details, right? Because I can even go to a mechanical pencil and actually create texture on this. So here I'm just going to show you that you can go really in there and create, let's say, some kind of texture that's going to be put on here. Okay, so got that message pop up. I'm just going to erase just a little bit over here and switch back to the darker pencil over here. Right, so you can experiment with this. So you can see now when I zoom out, you start to see these textures over here. So I'm just going to move a little fast now so you can see um, what I'm working on over here. So what we'll do is we'll just bring this out just a bit over here. So what I want to do is I think I'm going to actually push this out a bit more over here. And maybe what I want to do is put let's say from his bone structure, he's going to have like these horns sticking out, right? Just a thought. And if I don't like anything, I can do this over and over until I like the lines. Right, so drawing is just a process. You put your basic shapes down, your ideas, and you're just going to keep molding them until you're satisfied with the lines, right? So you can even move these lines by microns if you want to, just to get that right line. So I'm just kind of moving fast over here so you can get initial concept. So let's work on this chin area over here. So I think what I'm going to do is actually, what I'm going to probably put over here something that's going to go along the lines of this, and it's just going to be covered up over here. So I can just erase that once I get the initial thoughts down and then make a better version of this. And at any time I can just switch over just to see that if the ideas that I'm putting down are making sense design wise and they have the flow and the rhythm to what I'm looking for. And I'll probably put like a circle over here, and probably put like, undo that one. I'll just leave that be for now. Okay, so I'm starting to get more details. So let's just work on the lips over here. So I'm gonna put my arm hand down really over here because now I want to work a little bit on the details over here. So I'm just gonna do this over here. And I probably just mess around with the lips a little bit. Just get it to the way I want it to. I think I'm going to just shade them in just a bit over here so you can get an idea, general concept, what's going on. And then of course this is just going to be the bottom of the area over here, right? So over here I think what I'll do is start to just, alright, so here you can see that when I'm drawing, see this dot over here, that's what happens if you put your palm down. So again, you gotta kind of like need to get that glove over there. Okay, so now what I'll do is probably just come down over here and start to put down some concepts here. So let's see over here for the nose. I think I'm just going to do it this way over here. So again, I'm going to switch over just to make sure that what I'm putting down is making sense over here, right? Because the thing with digital drawing is when you zoomed in, you can misinterpret concepts, and it's good to look at them from further away. Okay, so now what I want to do is I think I'm just going to stay here for a second and just do this because this is where I want to put that eye over here that I was talking about. I'm just going to do like a circle over here. Let me just see how this looks. I'll probably just give him a line over here like so, kind of like a doctor or something. And then let's see, I'm going to put this over here, put like a circle in here. And I think what I'm going to do is this is where I'll use the zoom in here rotation feature maybe. So let's actually do this. Let's take this here, come down this way, here, and maybe put a few lines over here. kind of like a radioactive thing over here, and do this. And I think I'm going to move this out a little bit and just make sure I'm balancing out this concept here. Again, I'm just probably going to come back and change it a little bit later on. And so let's zoom out and see where we are at. And I think what I want to do is put like these diamond shapes over here. Maybe put a few circles over here, like so. Okay, so I'm almost done with this. So now I'm just going to think about, okay, well, the fed area is really here. So I'm just going to, in this way, just come in a bit, like so. Okay, so I'm get this underway over here. And maybe I'll put a line over here to signify that. So now let's switch back to where this was. And now let's think about this eye. So I'll probably zoom in over here. Let's look at this eye over here. What I want to do is really just come in here. I think I'm going to do it this way over here. Put one band down over there. This, and I think what I'm going to do is, let's say, what you're going to put, for now, I'll just do it this way over here. I can come in here and really just get in there and start to add more details, but I just want to get going with some of these concepts so you can see. Okay, so I got this down. What I want to do is actually give him like a scar, let's say, right? So let's say he's going to have over here some kind of a scar, and maybe we'll put like a few bandages over here that he's going to have over here. So let's go ahead and do this, kind of like it's curving a little bit, maybe. Do another one over here. Okay, and then I think I'm just going to do, let's say, this line is going this way, and put like a circle in here. Again, the whole idea is about just designing and finding the rhythm for the character, for all the things that you're putting on, to really make the design work. And I think over here, I got that dot. What we'll do, I guess if he's going in here, I'll probably like put like this concept here. And then over here, what I want to do is really just come down to where this is and bring this in a bit more. And then over here, what I like to do is we'll actually try this out. Do a few lines over here where the eyebrow should be, but here I'm just going to add this for now. Over here. And then what I'll do is two lines over here to kind of balance out this concept over here in this way. Let's put that line there, and of course this is just going to be kind of like this over here, then you'll get like a line over here. So next, I think what we'll do is we can actually put ideas on that side also. Just follow a general idea for some muscles over here, and then here I'm just going to start to push this out over here. Just get a general concept down. Let's do the ear over here. Almost done. And it's just going to be kind of like this. And here I'm just going to just do a generalized version of the ear over here. And this is just going to go in. It's going to come out over here. I'll just leave it like this for now. Okay, and then we'll just go in the back over here. Okay, and then from the other side, I'll probably just do the same thing. And I'm going to undo that. I think what I'd like to do is probably just keep it a little symmetrical over here. And I think that'll give me what I'm looking for. And then to finish it off, what I'd like to do is I'm going to actually bring this over here. Make some marks over here, some tattoos. And then over here on his head, to bring this area over here, I'm going to go down this way, go back all the way over here. Then over here we can probably just do, and if I don't like that, I'm just going to undo that real quick. Oops, undo. Think about this just a little more. I think what I'd like to do is actually have this come down this way over here, and I'm going to kind of bring it like this over here, and then in the back I'm just going to do this. So over here I can choose kind of like these designs, let's say we're doing for some kind of a metal plate, let's say. So we'll just do some initial concepts over here. It's like attaching itself. So over here, going in this way. Just that line. I'll just flip it and see if I like this concept or not. So I'm going to go ahead and just erase that. I'm not happy with that idea. So I'm just going to try out something different over here. I'm going to go actually this way over here, and I'm going to put a circle over here and a circle over here for now. And I think what I'll do is simply just zoom in and put some bolts down. Let's say we're just going to put some bolts down over here, going off into the distance over here. Right, and that'll just help me to see some different ideas that we can experiment with. So I'm almost done. So I've been drawing for around 37 minutes, so you can see the device has not malfunctioned or slowed down in any way. So that's what I wanted to show you, that you can when you're working with this device, that it is working pretty nicely. So I think, and lastly, what I'm going to do is actually just connect, let's see, some kind of thing over here. I know. One thing what I'll do is I'll just put this over here and probably just take it a little further back over here, and this one over here, and that'll just go off into the distance. Anyways, so if you take a look at this, so if I can now turn off the back, you can see that I've got the idea down, right? So I'm just going to keep this on because I just want you to see where this is. So notice that when I zoom out, now you're not probably going to be able to see this on camera, but the resolution on this device is really incredible, and I can see every line that I put down, and it looks very high quality over here, right? So let's just go ahead and zoom in over here, and I think that's what we'll call it a day. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this review of the Surface Pro 3. So thank you for watching.